Welcome to Interesting Enough. He is Trey. I am Nolan. Thank you guys so much for joining us once again. If this is your first time listening to the podcast, thank you. We're a couple hours off actually from the Team USA winning the gold medal. We got JP here with us. JP, man, what's going on?
Thanks for having me, man. I'm still living on this Olympic high, man.
I feel it, man. Trey, how you feeling?
Man, I'm feeling good, man. Like you said, we won a gold medal, so hey, can't get better than that.
Listen, we got a lot we want to tackle when we talk about the Olympics. We're going to talk about what we think about the Olympic team in the future. But let's talk about people have already seen the highlights and stuff from the game. As we're recording this, LeBron's already won the Olympics MVP, which all of us we just found out before this podcast is actually a thing, and we didn't know that was given out every Olympics. But LeBron won the Finals MVP. Um, I want to swing this to JP first. LeBron's the only choice for the MVP, right? There's no other choice. Like if we, because I'm just playing devil's advocate. I'm not saying he doesn't deserve it, but like, would he be the main guy to get it? Because Curry just had
Yeah,
a all time game tonight. So
yeah. I think if they doing it for the whole Olympics, yeah, because LeBron did have that triple double, and I think earlier they said it's only happened like 4 times in the Olympic Games, triple double. So if he did it early. I want to say the the qualifying round or something. But
hmm
you're right. If it was up for debate, Curry had the best last two games, and I wouldn't mind if Curry got it. This could have probably helped his legacy on those finals MVPs he missed on. But I'm 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 also good with that LeBron got it.
and Trey, I mean, I know. Do you think this adds to your boy's goat status or what? Because we know he was the
No,
best player on the team. Well, actually, Trey, did you think he was going to be the best player on the team at this age? Because that's actually something we haven't even ever talked about. Because like that may be just a surprise in itself, and then of course him winning the MVP.
no, like I'm not even being funny. If you would have told me that he was the best player on this team before we got started, I'd have been like, okay, so did we win silver or bronze? I don't think I would. I
Nah,
don't
that's
think I would have.
that's crazy.
No, like Trey might be right. If you would have told me not what 2 months ago when they was doing training camp and it was like, oh yeah, LeBron's the best player, I'm like, he shouldn't. He should be playing like 15 minutes here, 15 minutes there. And this should be like the Ant Edwards, Jason Tatum show to me. If you'd asked
Exactly.
me
That's
to,
how I
Yeah,
feel.
if
Like,
you'd asked me 2 months ago, now that I've witnessed the Olympics,
yeah.
it's a different story.
So 2 months ago, you who would you guys have thought would have been like you saw the roster, like who were you like, oh, who's the best player on the team? Because I would think it would if it wasn't LeBron, wouldn't you have thought it was like maybe KD or maybe Steph? Like, did you think it was anybody else outside of those three as the best player?
honestly, as crazy as it sounds, because I'm factoring in the age as well. That's something we have to do. I would have said this player, because of his age, is going to be playing more minutes and going to get more looks. I probably would have said Jason Tatum. And we see how wrong I would have been.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
agreed. 2 months ago, I'm thinking this team would have been led by like Tatum, and B would have established himself as like the best big man playing on a Team USA. I would have thought Anthony Edwards, and then and honestly, I thought KD, LeBron, and Steph were just gonna be here for nostalgia purposes and just ride out into the sunset. Like last Olympics, guys, like it's on y'all, but like we're
yeah,
just taking up roster spots. And then
Yes,
it was the complete opposite. They were literally the stars of this team carrying us, and I'm like, that's why we all thinking like we may be in trouble in the future of Olympics.
no,
yeah. I mean,
that's a bad sign. When, and I'm so
yeah,
happy that we got to see them like these. They were the leaders of the 2010s, like our age group. That's who we watched growing up.
Yeah,
But that's a bad sign if all these guys are over the age of 35 and they were the best players in these Olympics. And we won narrowly when we beat Serbia and today.
yeah. I mean, there's a couple angles I want to go with that, but I want to stick to the actual game first, just so we don't we don't go down that path because we should at least celebrate us getting the gold. So in terms of us getting the gold, let's talk about the Curry performance. We were basically waiting for him to show up, and these last two games are basically a reminder of if you weren't aware, this is who Steph Curry was. I actually think about Embiid and think about Curry, and when I think about those two guys, and you guys tell me you agree if you agree or not. Like when I look at the rest of the team, like I think a lot of the guys do multiple things well. Like I'm talking about, whether it's LeBron, Durant, Tatum, I don't care if it's Drew Holiday. Like there's guys who do multiple things well. They may shoot, pass, defend, or whatever. I thought it was important when they got the roster out. Like there's a dynamic that Embiid and Curry brought to the USA like roster that they didn't have before. Like Embiid has one, like I mean he does multiple things well, but the main thing is they've not had a guy that's that big and dominant, right? Or that can be in situations, and then they've not had a guy that is such a threat. They have guys that can shoot and excellent shooters, but they haven't had a guy that is like the threat of Steph Curry, where like you basically just have to stay attached to him the whole time. And I think having those two guys is what puts the roster over the top, like when you first saw it, because of like what they can do. But then like those two guys basically having their biggest games and the biggest moments is like, I think that's just like a story that I think about when it comes to the Olympics. Like, what do you think about that, JP? Like just those two guys specifically and like how they performed, like on the biggest stage, both of them their first Olympics.
So when it comes to Embiid, like you said, the stuff what he brought was something that we hadn't seen since like Shaq, like the super sheer dominant, like big that can just control the paint. And he did well for the most part, but I was kind of hoping he would carry more of the load. And
Mm-hmm.
then similar to with Steph with his shooting ability, I was just glad I was finally on the side of being able to cheer for him because been he's been doing this to LeBron, and I know it was able to. I knew he was able to do it, but like the first 4 games, it's like he was like just coasting, and I was
Yeah.
like, "Come on, man! Like I've seen you be the chef before. Let's do this." And
Mm-hmm.
that's the man. That's why I think I like the Serbia game, even though it wasn't a medal game, more than the actual gold medal game, because you can like literally see like KD, LeBron, and Steph like looking at each other like, bro, like we are literally the best three to ever do this at the Olympic level.
Yeah, and I think it's interesting, Trey. Like, I mean, there's like some legacy stuff we can talk about with Embiid because that was probably the best game. That's the most important game we've ever seen Joel Embiid play in, like that Serbia game, NBA or not. And like he performed, and like there was a stretch there in that Serbia game where like the USA just couldn't get a bucket, like they couldn't get anything going. And on a team full of stars, he was the guy that was able to be like, "Hey, give me the ball. Like I'll get us buckets. I'll keep us surviving." Um, and then the Curry situation happened tonight where, you know, France is on this run. They can't really stop the run. By the way, Curry had some of the turnovers, to cause this run. So I'm not gonna can't ignore that. But for him to down three, and Trey, what did you think here? Down three, 2.5 minutes to play. We had been struggling to get a bucket. Watching the game, did you think they would go to Curry for like to be the guy to go get the bucket, or because I thought it might be like something where it might be just in LeBron's hands and then he like makes the play, which I don't know if that was the play where he ended up doing the behind the back for the three, but I could be screwing that up. But what did you think at that moment in the game, if you can remember? Like, what were you thinking down the stretch? Were you nervous? And then if so, like, who was going to be the guy that's going to like get us through that?
Oh, definitely nervous. And I thought it would be LeBron that would get us through that. Just from the, not even particularly how the game was going, but just from his stature, I think he, like you said, he was the best player on the team. So I just figured, okay, we're just going to go to LeBron and then we're going to win or lose with LeBron. And that's how
Yep.
what I thought was going to happen. But when Curry hit that first three, I don't know. It was just something about the confidence. When I saw him shoot, I'm like, you know what? He might be getting ready to go on a little tear. And he did just that. And I think LeBron, I think Durant, I think everybody was just cool to get out the way and just let him do him. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. And JP, I mean, I guess I want you to hear your thoughts on the Curry stretch. If that's changed anything you felt about Curry or not, because he's never been in the Olympics. But what do you think about those last three shots? Obviously, the last shot was the craziest of them all. But like, I think about the Curry, like he gets the ball and basically he has an opportunity to do a swing to Kevin Durant, who can then swing it to LeBron James, which is just crazy to think about. And the guy just like the audacity to be like, yeah, y'all are open, but like I'm gonna take this shot. Like, what do you think of that? Like that 2 minute stretch of just like Curry greatness.
I loved it, and I don't get to say that often because again, like I said, he's always doing this against LeBron, and I can never actually appreciate this.
Yeah.
So like to finally be on the same side and enjoy this, I'm like, yes, this is great. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I can finally appreciate why you Warrior fans love him so much. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, during that stretch, once you saw like you saw that first one go in, and like it was already like down to like 4, and I was like, and you could see it from even like LeBron and KD. They both was looking at him like, bro, no, like you got the hot hand, shoot it. And
Yeah,
they didn't have no ego or anything. It was like, bro, no, shoot it. That's why I think they didn't care that he shot it over 2 people after going behind the back off one legged. I'm like,
that was crazy.
it was. I'm
That was
not gonna lie.
ridiculous.
I'm not gonna lie. I was
Did y'all
already
think that was going in?
No,
no, no, no, not at all. The only
I
reason
thought
I
he was
knew
going
it
to airball that.
The only reason I knew it was going in because I was watching it in a different TV than my parents was watching it in a different room, and I
Mm.
heard both my parents like, yeah. I was like, oh, this must go in.
Oh, okay. So they kind of ruined it for you because you
Yeah,
heard
they
it like a
did.
half a
They
second.
did ruin that one for me. But everything else, I was like, oh, man.
You know what it felt like? I, I'm like you, Trey, because like we've seen the Curry stuff where like those crazy shots do go in, but we've also seen him airball some of those. Like we know he gets like a little trigger happy, but like it just felt like poetic. I'm like, no way that's going in, but like it just went in. Like it's just crazy, and like of course it had to happen in the way it had to happen. I mean, I never thought that. And I think we talked about this a little bit before, but I never thought that we were actually gonna lose. Did you think at any point, like Trey, we were actually going to lose, or like because I don't know, I just wasn't that worried.
So, like in the Serbia game, like we were talking about a little earlier, I thought we were going to lose that at one point.
Yeah, I mean, down
And
15, that's pretty. Yeah, that's tough. You're down 15 in the third quarter, like yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah, you're close to losing as you can possibly be. This game, I don't know. You know what? I would say this. I thought we had a possibility to lose because, like you said, with 2 minutes left, we were either up by 3 or down by 3. I can't remember. I think we were down by 3, and we were playing in France. And I was like, if this game gets close, who's going to benefit from this whistle?
mm-hmm.
Not America. And who's going to be the more nervous team? America. And you can say what you want, like all LeBron and Steph Curry, they've been in these moments before. But even then, comparing it to like playing with the Olympics, and this is your chance to get gold. Like this is LeBron's last chance to get gold and stuff. This is your first chance to get gold. I thought they might get a little tight. I really did.
I can see that happening. I just felt like they were never fully out of control of the game. It was just one of those things that, like, of course, the other team is gonna like take some punches back, and they got other players that can play too. I mean, Trey, your king got dunked on. You know what I mean? The whistle
Oh,
didn't benefit. It didn't
nut
benefit.
sandwich.
It didn't benefit him then. So I mean, that was just it was just an interesting stretch of time. But I never really thought that they were going to lose the game. JP, did you think they were going to lose the game? Like, or if you did think they were going to lose the game, what was there a moment or like something where you were like, this isn't good?
Uh, I put it in our group. I was like, we trying to lose. Like we was up by like 15, and
Yep.
it got down to like 3. I'm like, we trying to lose. They want
Right.
me to hate being an American. Like right, they wanted me to hate being American. But it
Yeah.
was like right as I'm texting that in the group, it was right when Steph hits his like first shot, and right on that little last little minute stretch. And at that point, I was like, oh, we're fine. We're fine.
Yeah.
He out here doing his little dances. He shimmying. He running over to Carmelo. Like I don't even know why he's doing that, flexing the Carmelo, but okay, we can do this. I knew we were fine then, but yeah, there were times when I really thought, like you said, we playing in France, we're playing against France. That whistle is going to lean the other way if this
Yeah.
game is too close. And when it got to like 3, that's why I put it in the message. I thought we was going to lose.
And
But the game that I really, like Trey said, the game that I really thought like we weren't even gonna get like gold was against Serbia. I thought like they are sending us to the bronze medal game.
no, for real. Yeah, it looked tough in that game. I mean, yeah, tonight, I mean, I don't think I was ever truly worried that they were going to lose the game, especially since they kind of came out with that intensity and that energy. Also, can we just talk about Coach Mello on the sideline? Like, what's going on? Because like, is anybody going to tell Mello that like I don't think the guys are actually like listening to the play call he's trying to make, which is like basically just he's just telling everyone to ISO and get the hell out of the way. I'm like, I think they got it, Mello.
Yeah.
I appreciate it, Mello. I think they got it. I think
Yeah.
they got it up. But yeah, every time I see Mello on the sideline, like he's legit standing up, like as if like he is making the play call. Like I was like, they're not. I don't even think that's. But I mean, I guess it's cool to see the passion. Um, Did y'all see the moment? I mean, we'll talk about more serious stuff, but did y'all see the moment? Well, I know y'all saw the moment with the. I'm trying to tread lightly. The Gobert thing with him trying to like get up by Embiid.
Oh,
Y'all know what I'm
yep.
talking about?
Yeah, yeah, I know
What's
what you're
up?
talking.
Am I tripping or like why is Gobert doing that? Like
No, no,
I'm
no. I was
confused.
Embiid. That was Embiid.
So okay, I saw that first, but there, if you see the clip, I'll send this to you guys after. I saw the clip. So like basically, when Gobert's on the ground, he grabs Embiid's legs and then pulls himself forward, like basically like through his like legs. I don't know. There's no other way to really say that. Yeah, he just like pulled himself through his legs, and that's why LeBron was looking like, "What are you doing?" Like y'all will see what I'm talking about in the clip because in real time, I thought what you thought, Trey. I was like, "Oh, like Gobert, like Embiid should stand over him," but it wasn't actually Embiid. Embiid was like caught standing there, but Gobert put his like hands on Embiid's legs and pulled himself forward using his legs. Like I'm just confused. Like what is going on? Like and this is by the way the only reason I'm asking this. This isn't really the first thing like first time we've seen Rudy Gobert do something like a little questionable. So I don't know, but that may not mean that may not be nothing for nothing. But I thought that was a weird moment in the game. But let's talk about some unsung heroes in the game. Um, JP, we were talking briefly in the chat stuff about AD. Like, what do you think AD's significance was? Because I think just the past like year and a half to 2 years with him staying healthy, having an excellent year with the Lakers, and then how much he contributed in the Olympics, but then particularly probably his best game of the entire Olympics was this gold medal game. Like, what do you think about his contribution? Like, what he gave to the team at the end here.
Those 4 blocks, the amount of offensive rebounds he got, I think the Olympics showed why we appreciate AD when he came out of college. Because we never expected AD to come out and score 30, 40. But, once he got in the NBA, he started to do that. But like in college, all he really did was block a bunch of shots and rebound the ball really well, get his teams a bunch of extra second chance opportunities, and then like actually secure like defensive rebound. Yeah, I like that AD accepted his role on this team, and that's he was definitely the unsung hero of this game.
Yeah, I loved AD's minutes. Trey, how'd you feel about AD's minutes? And then also, I know we talked about the lineup situations. Like, how did you feel about the lineups? Were you cool with the lineups that Kerr ended up, pulling out there? I know Tatum played. Like, what'd you think about that whole situation?
Okay, well, again, what JP said, I do want to add on to that. I really just respected that AD played his role, and it's kind of like a talk you and and JP we had earlier, where the U.S. team they're going to need some guys that can just play their role, especially let's say like just project out in 2028 when you maybe don't have the same level of superstars that you have on the team now. You're just going to need guys that can play a role. And AD, that's exactly what he's out there doing. He was just being a defensive menace. He wasn't really looking to score the basketball or take all the shots. He was getting offensive rebounds. He was just doing a lot of the lunch pail dirty work. So I did love that. Now to get to that second question about how did I feel about the rotations, I didn't understand it. I didn't understand why Steve Kerr wasn't playing Jason Tatum at least just a little bit because at this point, correct me if I'm wrong, but you're pissing off one of the best players in the league and one of the players that you're going to need going forward in the Olympics. Because if I'm Jason Tatum, I don't even know if I want to play in 2028.
Well, that's fine. We'll get somebody else. Actually, I
Okay,
know
now
who
we
will get.
just
I know who will get to replace you. Your teammate.
Yeah, but
so you think he wants to play?
you didn't even pick him to play. Like you picked.
Yeah.
Okay, well, if I'm Steve Kerr, I don't really care how you feel. You ain't. You know, if I'm Steve Kerr, guess who the only person I care whose feelings, if I heard or not? Steph
Anthony
Curry.
Edwards.
No, Steph Curry. Because
That
he's
is
the
true.
only guy that is if I work with on a regular basis. I don't care about the rest of y'all. Like, you can be mad at me all you want. See you in 4 years, dog. Like, what you want me
Facts.
to tell you? See
Facts.
see you in 4 years. But also too, I don't know, like Trey, you say that we should play Tatum more. And yeah, he should have got some more minutes, but in place of who and like when? Because I feel like most of the guys that were playing well. I guess he could take some of the Bam minutes, but Bam played pretty well. Maybe you can split those in half. What do you think? Like, just to follow up on that, Trey, what do you think where could have Tatum played more? The only thing y'all know, I don't like the five in, five outs. like
Oh yeah, the high school
substitutions.
subs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that I'm all for that completely. Like that was cool in exhibition play, like because you just want to just get some guys out there and everybody should play. But like in the real, like once we in Paris, dog, like you don't have to do 5 and 5 out. They're these are like grown men, so like we're good. Like so, Trey, what do you think? And then I'll go to JP after that. But Trey, what do you think? Where should Tatum have gone in? Like for who? You know, I know this is getting like into the minutia, but like I'm just curious.
Oh, I can answer that easily. And you're gonna laugh when I first say it, but he could even sub for LeBron because hear me out. All you had to do was give him 5 minutes, maybe 7 minutes. But a DMP, like don't embarrass him. That's all I'm saying. He could have got 5 spot minutes, like just into the bench minutes. But that's fine. But DMPs, those sting a little bit. So that's what I'm saying. I don't think he should have got strictly DMPs. But no, I don't think he should have been playing like LeBron's amount of minutes or Curry or Durant's. No, he shouldn't have been doing that either.
See, but the problem is, JP, is Kevin Durant wasn't starting. So basically,
Yeah.
if you
Yeah.
just going off of that, Kevin Durant is getting the LeBron minutes, right?
And
That
that's
come
what
off the
I was gonna
bench.
say. I was like, well, it wasn't into the gold medal game that they both started.
Mm-hmm.
But
Right. So
yeah.
that's what I'm thinking. So like, I see what you're saying, Trey, but then I'm like, well, basically Kevin Durant. If you want to just take it like novice point guard, shooting guard, small forward, like Kevin Durant's basically the backup small forward at that point, and then with the power forward and center, that's just Bam and the AD, and that's why I say it depends on the role. Because I know what you mean, Trey. Like Tatum's probably better with the ball in his hands. Like we could probably all agree here on that. So it's like
Yeah, we all know that.
and he's not like a knockdown shooter where like he can play off the ball like Carmelo did at one point in time, or like you see like Devin Booker do. I know we had complaints about Anthony Edwards kind of like holding the ball a lot too. So like those guys kind of having to struggle, but there's only one basketball. So like my whole thing is, I guess the best argument for Tatum would be let him run that second unit. Because by the way, we see him run a unit with the Boston Celtics, like being with the ball in his hands. He can run a unit with some other shooters around him. But the problem is like Anthony Edwards not really a catch and shoot guy. You know, Bam's not a catch and shoot guy. Like when you're running with those guys, so that's when the 5 in 5 out thing becomes hard. So I guess that's what makes it more difficult. But yeah, I mean overall, I mean they got the job done anyway. Do you guys or JP? Do you think in terms of for Tatum? Does he now use this as motivation? Do you think it's something that shouldn't really matter? Hey, we got a gold medal. It's all good. Like, what do you think he may be feeling? I mean, we don't ultimately know, but what do you think if you were him? You know what I mean?
Uh, we said it earlier. I think Jason Tatum's going to use this as motivation for the NBA season. How much would it really help? I mean, they just came off a championship, but him and Brown can definitely use this as motivation. They're probably going to kill the Warriors every time they see them.
No, that's for sure happening.
Yeah,
Ain't no
like
probably about it.
like they both going for 60 apiece to try to against anytime they see Steve Kerr coaching anything. I don't, I don't think we talking about 2028 Olympics. I don't think Jason Tatum's going to accept the invitation. I do think,
Whoa,
I'm,
really?
a, yeah,
I wouldn't.
Well, okay, hold on. Let's.
he didn't play in 3 whole games, and there was only 6 of them total.
But you think 4 years from now he's still gonna be bothered by that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay, okay,
you
that's a
don't
bad
think
question.
NBA players are petty? You
No,
think
no, no. Yeah, you're right. You're right. You're actually right. That was a bad question. Let me rephrase it. Do you think he would be so upset because at the end of the day, guys still want to be on the gold medal team and win the Olympics? It's still a prestigious thing. So like, no matter what you feel about Coach Steve Kerr, you still gonna be in that squad because like you want to be in the Olympics. Now, here's what I'll counter and ask you, JP. Do you think Jason Tatum, let's say 4 years from now, he has the cachet like Trey likes to say, and he's like maybe an MVP candidate, maybe he's won an MVP. Maybe now he can go there and be like, I'll come to your Olympic team, but let's get some things straight. Like my role need to be this. Do you think it'd be or do you think it can't be that type of situation? Because I don't know if guys can go and really demand that.
um with Tatum,
Yeah, if we're just
like
Tatum,
like
yeah.
like we're talking about like hypothetically, like say they win one more championship between now and 4 years. He's an MVP caliber player. Um,
Well, let's take it this way. Cause what do you think is the most realistic thing that can happen with Jason Tatum between? Do you think he's a realistic MVP candidate between now and 4 years from now? Like at some point? I guess that's a better question because then that would be how you would feel about him as a player. The way I look at it, and Trey, I want to hear your thoughts on this too. The way I look at it is Tatum, the team he's on, and how good of a player he is, he'll probably be an All NBA player like he's been. I think we can basically mark that All Star, All NBA guy. And I think if he has another great year or two, he'll probably be a guy that can finish in the top three in MVP voting because his team will be so good and he'll be excellent. And I think he can end up being one of the few American superstars that we bring in 4 years. So that is what I think he's going to be as a player in 4 years. So I guess maybe that tables it for you, JP. That's how I'm thinking he would be, but I don't know if you feel differently.
No, I agree with that statement on the caliber player he gonna be in 4 years, but I think
Mm-hmm.
this experience itself was probably off putting for him. Because think of that. He's supposed to already have that. He's literally the most recent champion out of anybody on the team. And him, Drew Holiday, and White. That he's supposed to be able to come in and be like, yo, y'all legit. Like, I'm the top dog. And that was far from the truth. And we didn't even touch on this point. Like, he didn't play in like 3 games, but if Kawhi stays, he probably doesn't play in any.
Do you think? Well, that's a good question, Trey. You're the resident guy that we have to talk about when Kawhi's name comes up. So, do you think if it's the same situation, Kawhi doesn't play at all?
No, Kawhi plays because they don't disrespect Kawhi like that. If
But I
nothing
think
else.
Kawhi has an alibi though, because they could always not play him and they just be like, oh yeah, they're just kind of like low managing him because he got a lot of injuries, so they're just trying to chill. Like I think
But
he
if
has an
they do
excuse.
that, I think they had that talk with Kawhi, like, hey, this is what we're planning to do. How do you feel about it? Like, they didn't say anything to Jason Tatum. Like, it's obvious they didn't have any kind of conversation like, hey, you might not play a lot at this Olympics because his mom and dad are over making tweets pretty much to that effect. Like, we don't even know what's going on.
But do you think that they? Because I think they didn't have a conversation with him initially until after that first game when it was like it looks like Steve Kerr just like was an oversight. You don't think there was no conversation? There's just no way Steve Kerr, an excellent basketball coach, was like, "Hey man, like this is what the roles." Because they obviously had a conversation with Tyrese Halliburton. Like
But I
I don't
think he
know.
was just happy to be there. I think he has
Exactly.
enough.
I think Halliburton was happy to be there. He was like, you know what? I can't
Yeah,
believe y'all think I'm one of the top 12 guys in the league. That's American. No way.
yeah. All right, y'all got Halliburton messed up now. He's still a competitor. Like, come on now. Like I don't think you know what?
Listen, I think
Yeah,
Halliburton, I'm not trying to say I think he has a general understanding of where his stance is in the league. And I think he understood, like, okay, I'm not on the same level as these guys that are starting ahead of me. So, like, let me just chill out. But next Olympics, I'll be there. And also,
Yeah.
Halliburton is not coming off of being, quote unquote, like a real legitimate person to be the finals MVP, even though he didn't win it. Tatum, he had a legitimate chance to win it. He's not coming off a finals berth. So, like, it's a little bit different.
I just don't know how much that matters in the grand scheme of things. Like in terms of the
It
Olympic.
matters
I
to
mean,
Tatum.
Yeah.
That's all that matters. It matters to Tatum.
but if I'm Tatum, I think I am who I am, regardless if I won the Finals MVP, regardless if my team won a championship. Like I don't know.
But no, I
Yeah,
feel disrespected
but
because I'm like, you should
yeah.
have had this talk with me earlier.
Yeah. Like, if I'm Tatum, I agree with Trey. If I'm Tatum, I'm like, bro, tell me I'm not playing from the get go before I
Yeah.
mentally buy in. Because I could then told y'all, like, hey, kick rocks. I'll see y'all in 28.
Yep.
Now that's a fair point. That's the point I agree with probably the most of this conversation. If you want to say now, actually, you know what? I agree with that point, but let me throw this out. Y'all think they should just go back to doing the tryouts like how they used to? No, I'm being real. You remember how they used to be like dudes used to look full on. For people that don't know, like dudes used to have to be like full, they were full on in the NBA, like having to go try out, like not like you just get selected and then like you get your jersey and Grant Hill pulls up to your community. Like you would have to go to like Vegas or where I think it was at UNLV, right? So
Yeah.
you had to
Yeah.
pull up UNLV, and if we've all seen the same highlight, if people seen the highlight with the select team at the time, which was Kyrie when he broke the full court press and with like Kobe and all that, like those are tryouts. Just for people to know, those are tryouts. I mean, Kyrie was on the select team, but like those are tryouts. So like, do you think they should go back to like some tryouts or something like that? Or I don't even know if they could do that. I'm just probably throwing it out there.
I think, I'm sorry to cut you off, Trey.
No, you
I,
good.
I think they don't need the tryouts, but moving forward, it's 6 stars, 6 role players. Uh,
Mm,
and if you
okay.
could get 12 stars and then six of them understand like, hey, this is your role, like you can tell AD, like even if he was healthy enough for next Olympics, hey bro, this is your same role. Like we still got to go see Wemby. We still got to see Jokic because I still believe they're gonna be there in the next 4 years. There might be another big man that came from overseas. Like, don't we got two? Didn't two of them get drafted this year? They didn't play on the Olympic
Yeah.
teams.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Alex Sarr and Risha, yeah.
Yeah.
Let's
Who
see the
knows? They may be bust in the NBA. It may not be bust, but they'll go back home and play like they Jordan.
100%. See, Trey, to me, and that's a good point that JP made. But the problem is these teams have so much chemistry, and I know we've talked about it a little bit, but they have played together with FIBA. They played together for years, like all these different countries, where we just basically put together different squads every 4 years, and like I think that the only thing that we don't have the chemistry like edge over those countries. The only thing that we have over those countries is we could just pull out the most talent. And like even though if our chemistry won't be that great, we can develop enough chemistry over time that because we're so overwhelmingly talented, we'll be able to just overcome any other deficiencies and win. So like that's my thing, Trey. Like, how are they gonna like foster an environment where they can have these guys to play FIBA, have these guys play like in these other, not just every 4 years, and they can keep some of the same roster together because these guys are like young enough to continue.
I don't think you can do that until they lose. It's almost like if you look at the 2004 roster, it's like, man, this doesn't look like the best that America could send. And nobody was taking the Olympics serious. It was just kind of like, oh, yeah, we're just going to go over there and win. And then you didn't. And then they got Coach K in 2008, and they took all this a little bit more seriously because then we didn't have that feeling of invincibility anymore. We realized that we could lose. And I think it's going to take another incident like that. And like, I wouldn't be surprised if 2028 is the year that we lose, kind of get put in our face, and then we kind of just, build upon that. Like, okay, we got to take this FIBA a little bit more seriously as well. And I had one thing I wanted to say on this topic, and I want to get JP's opinion on it first, and then yours, Nolan. Do you think the Olympics, like the Olympic team, might be in a little bit of trouble because this Jason Tatum, I don't want to say news, but this Jason Tatum distraction, and then the Jalen Brown situation, like it just didn't put the Olympic team in the best light. And I can kind of see that making some other superstars in the near future a little bit weary about joining the Olympic team. Am I looking too much into it or what?
I don't think you're looking too much into it. I think you're right on it because again, we even said off the pod that we was talking about how the gap is not as great as we would like it to be either.
Mhm.
So, the one thing we can lean on is like what Nolan said is we have the best talent pool to pick from because we're America, but you're right. I can see a world where, like I said, Jason Tatum next Olympics say no, and even though his growth to be like NBA caliber player, the actual maybe one of the two superstars we may have, like true superstars at that moment, and he can be like, "Nah, I don't want to do it. My last Olympics, it was not a great experience for me." I can see that world, but I to piggyback off another thing you said about us having an incident, I would prefer the incident to happen during the World Games, like during FIBA, and then they'd be like, "Hey, bro, we got kicked 3 times in a row during the FIBA games. Like legit, like this is the Olympics. Like let's get the best to do this, please."
I hope you're right
Hmm.
because 2028, that's going to be in Los Angeles. So, like, it would be embarrassing to get kicked in the teeth in our country.
I mean, okay, so like the thing about the 2028 is we've had this conversation about like not having enough American superstars coming up. And I think that's where like this situation, like we're gonna find out who the next superstars is within these next 4 years. Because face it, no matter what we think about how good these guys are, within the next 4 years, one of these guys are going to become either NBA champions or like MVPs, like Edwards, Jason Tatum, like Booker, whoever. Like, I mean, so we're going to look at these guys in a different light. Like, we don't look at them like that now because they're being compared to Steph Curry and Kevin Durant, and LeBron James, like guys who have won multiple MVPs and championships and like all this accomplished. These guys are too young. So I just think that like in 4 years, they can still put together a pretty good roster. Now, Trey, you had said before we did the podcast, they should be concerned about barely getting a damn medal. Now, I disagree. But like, you really think these other countries are going to catch up to us to a point where we can't even field a roster like that? It can definitely win the gold.
Okay, hear me out. We all agree that we almost just lost against Serbia. We all agree on that, right?
Yes.
If we lose to Serbia, we're playing for bronze. And this team really isn't going to give a damn about bronze. So they probably don't even try their hardest. And they're going against a Germany team that really wants to win bronze. And that's it.
So you
It's
just
not that
saying based on
hard.
the circumstance there. Okay.
No. But what I'm trying to do is paint a picture that it's not that hard to see a team like us go leaving empty handed. And if you have a team, let's say in 2028, that we're like, okay,
Well,
some players are going to take a leap, but I think we all can say the 2028 team probably won't be quite as good or won't quite measure up to the 2024 team. I think we can all say that.
I
yeah,
wouldn't say that.
I can, because you
I
know what,
can.
I'm thinking of this too, because even in this Olympics, Australia had a bunch of NBA players. They didn't make it nowhere near a medal game. Canada had
Canada.
the second most NBA players, like active NBA players, didn't
Now,
even
if
make
y'all
it.
don't stop, I'm sorry. Stop that. Y'all
No, but
acting
what I'm
like
saying is like,
they had active NBA players. They didn't have all stars like we do. NBA
well, okay,
players.
but Nolan, all right, you're right. They didn't have all stars, but listen, we had LeBron, Curry, and Durant. They make a big difference. 4 years from now, I don't care if Anthony Edwards has won a title. I don't care if Devin Booker has won a title. They're probably not as good as LeBron, Curry, and Durant. And that means that we are going to be a little bit diminished. That doesn't mean we're going to be bad. I'm not saying we're going to be bad, but I'm saying we're not going to be the same level of the team that we are now.
Okay.
Who do y'all think should be the coach then for that team? Like
I wouldn't
legit the
take it.
head coach.
I wouldn't take the job. I'm not even joking. Because I think they're going to, JP, I think it's like a 50-50 chance that we lose. And I would not want that on my resume.
The coach is interesting. I would probably, if it's not going to be Kerr, I'd do the Spoelstra or Ty Lue. Like,
Yeah.
just do one of the guys that's like been an assistant. So I think that you can do that. But I don't know, Trey. Okay, Steph Curry, KD, LeBron. However you want to
Yep.
rank them, these are what, three of the top 15 to 20 greatest players ever, right? Like whatever
Yep.
list. Okay.
Yeah.
So basically, I don't know if we're ever going to get a roster. To your point, like you're not going to get a roster that often that has like basically top 20 all time greats like all at the same time. Now, but it has proven that every Olympic roster is going to have all time greats. USA roster, every
Yeah.
roster, right? Like they have Hall of Famers.
Yeah.
I just think we don't look at these guys in the same light because they're so young. Edwards could end up being an all time great. We just
Devin
don't
Booker
know
not
that
young.
yet. Devin Booker is still pretty young. Like, how old is Devin Booker? Let's somebody look it up. But Devin
27.
Booker, he's 27. That's not even that. Okay, in 4 years, it's possible that Devin Booker could have won an MVP. Do you think so? In 4 years, I'm not saying that he's
Uh,
likely, but it's not a 0% chance.
I
It's not
heard
a zero
JP
mm,
percent
just say
chance.
no.
I said
Okay,
I didn't say
Oh, okay, okay.
no. I
but y'all
said
acting
hum.
like Devin Booker. Okay, if Tatum could be more like we talk about this all the time. Like, how far is Booker from Tatum? Like, I mean, I can make an argument for Booker. We probably all choose Tatum, but like, there's an argument to be made for Booker over Tatum. I don't think there's no argument. There's there's no argument you can make that why you'd rather have Booker over Tatum.
I thought we was talking about the MVP thing. Hold
No, no,
on.
no,
Like
no.
you ain't give me a chance to.
Yeah. I'm just throwing that out there. But let me. I'll finish the point. The point is, we don't know what these guys are going to become. So we may not
Bro.
look at Tatum as an all-time great right now, but 4 years from now, we could be looking at him as an all-time great because of what he has accomplished. From now until 2028. And same thing for Edwards. Booker. I know you feel about that. Booker, John Morant, Zion. All these guys. So and all of these guys are super talented. So like even if they can, I was just writing some names down. Even if they can field a team of, they'll have the choice of Tatum, Brown, Donovan Mitchell. Obviously Halliburton was on the team and Booker and Bam, but then you got like Paolo and Chet. If Ja or Zion, like, these are guys, and then that's not even including if you get like a Jalen Brunson, a De'Aaron Fox, a Maxey, like those guards. So like these are still like all NBA All Star guys. So like I just don't really think that like if you can get enough of those guys on these teams, like how could you not be favored to win the gold? That's just my only thing.
Oh
because
no,
the best players in the world on that team.
we'll definitely be favorites to win. But then again, you brought up the point of like they don't play together enough. All these other countries, that's all they got. So they
Yeah.
gonna play all three FIBA years together. Wemby's gonna get stronger. I'm just saying, like he can get the Giannis weight room playing, and then the whole world is in trouble.
Okay, but and that's a good point. And to Trey, your point, you're saying we don't have the best players in the world, but we do. The best player in the world is Jokic. Jokic is gonna be 4 years older. He might not even play in the Olympics. Who's the second best player in the league? Luca. If you want to say Luca, okay. Where's he at? Oh yeah, that's right. Didn't qualify. Where's Giannis at? Oh yeah, that's right. He didn't even make it out of the group stages. So those are the top three players in the NBA, and they're not there. So if I was to say that name the top 10 guys in the NBA, is it your list going to have Jason Tatum there at some point? Maybe Devin Booker, maybe a healthy John Morant. Like those guys are going to be a part of those lists. Anthony Edwards, I mean, like he's on that trajectory. Like, so I don't know what you're saying, Trey. Like these are the top guys in the league, or they if they're not right now, we would assume that they are going to be.
Okay, and let me delve a little bit further into it. So what I'm saying is, right now, LeBron, Curry, and Durant, you can't make an argument that they're the best players in the world because in an 82 game season they can't keep up that kind of pace. But for one
Yeah.
game, JP, hear me out. For one game, who would you take over LeBron, Curry, Durant? Like, and we could take Jokic, Luka, and Giannis, but who would you take out of those three? I'm out of those six. I just named.
Oh no, like us three, those three as a group, because they're all
Yeah.
Americans. I'm gonna keep that three as a group because collectively, I'm going with them for one game
That's all
over.
And,
time greats though.
Yeah.
and that's how you have to look at. And maybe you're right, but I just don't think that any of these players 4 years from now we're going to look at them like they're all-time greats, and that's going to be the problem. That's going to be the difference.
Well, let's just hope they play in the World Games
They're
because
Yeah.
not, bro. We had
I
Austin Reeves playing last year.
that was last year.
Yeah. Austin
I
Reeves catching a stray.
yeah, that was last year. I know one year we had Kuzma playing. Like I get it. Like,
Yeah. Yeah, we did. We did have
but
Kuzma playing.
I honestly believe, like Halliburton, he's definitely gonna do it. You don't think he can recruit some of these guys?
Trey, Paolo could be a top 5 player in 4 years.
I know we keep saying Paulo, but isn't he half Italian? What if he get
He
mad at
is, but I
us?
feel like he's going to play with us.
JP,
Like
you know damn well he playing with us.
yeah, but he could be. We don't know how he think. Trey know how he think because you play for Orlando. But I'm like, what if he really be like, you
He
know
told
what?
you what he thought in FIBA when he played with us. That's what I'm saying. Listen, I'm gonna be real. If Joel Embiid, he had multiple options, okay, where he could have played, and he played with America. So Paolo coming this way. But I'm saying, okay. So all those guys I listed, tell me if I'm wrong. If I'm gonna pick a couple guys and be like, this guy has, I can see a world where he's a top 5 to 6 player in the NBA. Paolo, y'all agree or disagree?
I can see him as a top 10 player in 4 years.
Trey, you're a Magic fan.
Top 10. I'm with JP. Top 10.
4 years from now, the top 5 players, 3 of them guys are gonna be like retired.
Yeah, but like, where do you rank the top forward? Because he's still a forward. Like we
Okay,
don't classify him as a forward. He's still a forward. So like top 10 still gonna have Tatum in it. It still has Jaylen Brown in it. It still has if Zion decides to get his act together, you got him in it.
Probably
Anthony
has
Davis.
Shea in it.
Yeah,
okay. Let me ask you a question then. Do you think Paolo has the potential to be any better than like a Jason Tatum or a Booker?
it's too soon to make that judgment on him.
No, yeah. I'm just talking just purely off potential. Like I'm not
I'm
saying
going to say this off potential. I think Paulo's going to be really close to Jason Tatum. I think they're going to be really similar.
okay. Okay. How
That
about the
that's the
ceiling?
thing. I just don't. You're right.
Okay.
Maybe in 4 years it changes, but I don't see that all time greatness like on this next team, and that's the problem. That's really what I'm getting at. That's the problem.
Yeah. What about Edwards? What do you think his ceiling is? If he reaches the potential that we think he can reach,
If he
he could.
reaches his potential, he's the best player in the world at some point.
Yes,
Okay. Okay. So we have one guy that we can say in a perfect world, in 4 years from now, he may be the best player on the team.
correct.
Okay. Okay. So we got one guy. We can we all agree we feel that way about Zion if healthy.
Yeah,
What he
I
gonna
think.
look like in 4 years?
Here you go. Here you go.
No, no, no,
I
no, no,
knew he was
no,
gonna get there. I knew he was gonna get there.
no, no, no. Hear me out. This is why I say that. Even if he's healthy in 2028, he's gonna have like two other injuries before then. So like, is he
No,
even the same caliber player?
we're talking in a perfect world. This is the hypothetical. Perfect
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
world.
Just yeah.
He
Hypothetical. Yeah.
he
Okay, perfect
acts
world.
he perfect world. He actually does the meal plan that he needs to. Instead of being
Mm-hmm.
275 and 10% body fat, he be 250 and like 4% body fat, and he's still as dominant as he
And
is.
he stays relatively healthy. Plays
Yeah,
65 games a year. Like whatever.
we're talking perfect world.
Yeah.
Like
Okay,
he
perfect
does.
world. Then he might be the best player in the league, legit.
Okay. Or the top five guys at minimum.
Yeah,
Okay. Okay. So cool. We got two guys that we can rely on. Yeah. Do we feel that way about John Morant?
I think he's gonna make a comeback. I I need this season to make the full judgment on him.
Okay. We can wait for this season. So
I think top 10. I don't know if Ja has top five potential, but top 10, yeah.
He was the original face of the league before Anthony Edwards and his incidences he had on IG with guns.
yeah. Okay. Okay. So I mean, I guess I only say that exercise to say like this is what our thought process is now. So I'm just curious to see what it would be like in 4 years. But yeah, it probably is a little bit of a problem. It probably is a little bit of a problem. I don't know if it's gonna be enough of a problem to like really warrant us like having a real shot at losing. But to be fair, like you said, Trey, we were down 15 in a semifinal game with the greatest players of all time. So I mean, I guess technically anything can happen. So I guess that's just my American entitlement coming out. So I just can't see a world in that. But
And my thing is that the reason I'm saying it's not to be negative, but I remember 2004. So like we kind of had that same. I'm just going to be honest. We had that same kind of arrogance in 2004, and then look what happened.
yeah, I can see that. But listen, before I know we talked a lot about basketball, I want to talk just overarching things about the Olympics. Just I want to get general thoughts of what you guys. I mean, this comes around every 4 years, so I figure we can at least talk a little bit about it. Maybe favorite events, anything that surprised you, like any special moments, winners, losers. JP, I'll give it to you first. Anything that stood out to you at the Olympics, like just non basketball wise.
Non basketball wise, what really stuck out to me and was the synchronized swimming.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna lie, I was really amazed on how they did what they do and how they done it. And I think we talked a little bit off pod about how they practice and stuff. They practice like right side up, but still, the fact that you swimming, hold your breath that long, and really doing all of that, it really amazed me.
that's yeah. The synchronized swimming is insane, bro. Like, there's just no way. I don't think I could be that in sync with a human like on land. Like, I just really like even if we practice all the time. Like, I just don't even think that's like possible. And they actually doing that in the water. Like that, I don't know. That's just crazy to me. But yeah, that's a big deal. Trey, what about you?
I'm gonna do one that we talked about uh, off podcast as well. The breakdancing. That was just that's a little
Yes.
bit different.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I didn't even know that was a sport, but I'm like, I really do enjoy this.
Yeah, the breakdancing. I was telling JP and Trey before we got on the people have probably seen the Australian woman that let's just say she ain't look like she had a bunch of breakdancing training. That's the nicest way I'm gonna put it. They think that she just kind of pulled up to the Olympics, you know, and helped out Australia. So yeah, I didn't even know that. Did y'all know that was a sport? Because I actually didn't know that was a sport before.
No.
Nope.
No.
Okay,
No.
okay.
I
So I
only
thought
saw
I didn't know if I was wrong.
breakdancing in random movies. I'm gonna be
Right,
honest with
right,
you.
right. I was like, I didn't
I
actually
still
know
don't
that
think
was
it's
a
a
sport.
sport.
I mean,
Bro, they
yeah, I
got a
mean,
gold medal for it. It's a sport.
yeah, it's a sport. Hey, listen, there's a lot of things. I mean, I knew fencing existed. I actually didn't know that it was like a real thing for the Olympics. I caught a little bit of that. and apparently we lost. I think we actually lost to I think we might have lost to France too, like in one of the medal games, or I think the game for the gold medal. So I thought fencing was cool. I caught a little bit of water polo, rugby. Did y'all? I don't know if y'all got a chance to see the rugby. The women's rugby team went crazy, which apparently is like super big, and they've been trying to get a lot of women into the sport.
Oh
But
yeah,
yeah,
that's
they
right.
serious.
And then
They
they had that one
serious.
girl that arm wrestled Kelsey from
Yeah. Yeah, she's a beast. She was killing. I caught a little bit of that. I didn't watch like the full games or anything, but I caught a little bit of that. But it's just cool to see random sports that like I mean I know rugby existed, but I wouldn't have like ever paid attention to. And then of course like I mean I gotta keep the cookie cutter stuff. Like I always care about the track. You know what I mean? I
yeah.
always care about the track. Um, I
How
don't
do
know
we
how
feel
y'all
about
feel
Noah
about.
Lyles?
You said what?
How do we feel about Noah Lyles?
I'll start. I'll
Yeah.
start because I'm gonna be
Yeah. Go
honest.
ahead.
I'm
Go
gonna be honest. I'm a Noah Lyles hater, but he won. But I'm a Noah Lyles hater. He can continue to talk his talk. He did win a couple gold medals before he got COVID, so I'm not gonna be the dead horse. But
Yeah.
like he still has room to still talk his stuff. I'll say that.
I'll say this about Noah Lyles. We haven't won the 100 meter in like forever, like in America. So like just to bring the fastest man back to America is a big deal. So I'm happy for him for that, and I think he's a great athlete. I just think he's a little corny. I mean, I don't.
Oh, he
I just think
definitely
he's a
is
little.
that. He
Yeah, he's just
definitely is
definitely
that.
a little like. And I'm not trying to say it in like a really negative way. I don't hate the guy or anything like that, but like I feel like y'all ever heard trash talk? Like we've all heard trash talk, like whether in real life and of course like athletes you see and stuff like that. Like I feel like there's certain trash talk that's just like it's not that believable. And like when he does it, it just kind of come off corny, even though he's super talented though. So like you have to
Yeah.
take him seriously as like an athlete. But like for some reason when he trash talks, I'm like it's just not very intimidating. I don't know. That's the way I look
Yeah.
at it. But yeah, so and then of course the random like calling out the NBA champions. That was kind of funny and odd. I don't really know why he was bringing attention to that. I guess that's probably why I find him a little corny, just to like be bringing that up out of nowhere. And then basically had the whole USA Olympics team watching the track and meet, basically praying on his downfall. I'm gonna keep it a buck. I'm gonna keep it a buck. They was probably praying on his downfall a little bit because them tweets was coming out if he lost.
Oh, were they coming?
Them
Like I
tweets was
said,
coming out.
I'm a hater for him. I'm glad he won for us, but I was on the side of like, all right, let's see what you did. You talking all
Mm-hmm.
this stuff saying you the third fastest man to ever live. I want to see this. And
Yep.
so when he
So
won, I was like, yep, gotta respect it.
yeah, he won. I mean, look, Trey, he won the race. I mean, he was celebrating like he won by 8 steps. Even though he won
Like
by a
he could
shoulder.
turn and look.
Yeah,
He
yeah,
can't.
he was. It was that kind of insane reaction, but he did win. Um, how do you feel about Shakari, Trey? Because I mean, she didn't ultimately get that 100 meter, and that whole situation was weird with the whole like not being able to get in and then like warm up with 100 meter. Like I'm not really sure even the full details there, but she still did end up getting it in the 4x100 relay, so that was cool too.
She did, and I'm happy for her. And like you said, that situation all overall, I don't know all the details, but like you said, something about her not being able to get on a bus, it was just a weird situation. But for her, I'm really am happy for her, and I think it's just good to see because that momentum she had a couple years ago, then she lost it for smoking weed or whatever. I kind of feel like that kind of derailed her career a little bit. So it's just kind of good to see her medal, even though she didn't get gold, just to see her medal and kind of get a shot to kind of re-energize her career.
Yeah, I like seeing that a lot. I mean, the track is always fun. I don't know if I don't pay attention to like any of the world championships. I don't know if you guys do, but I really don't even pay attention to any of it at all. So seeing that. Oh, and by the way, I don't want to mess up her name, but Sydney McLaughlin, Laverne or whatever, who just basically dominates in the hurdles, just did the same thing. So I'm always down to like see records broken. But I was really excited to see the Olympics, and I'm kind of like a little sad to see it go because I like waking up in the morning and then just seeing like a random event I never heard of, and then all of a sudden I'm locked into watching handball or something. So, the Olympics is pretty dope. But I mean, at least the USA basketball got to cap it off tomorrow. Women's basketball. Any predictions that they're not going to get the gold by y'all?
Nah, I'm predicting gold.
Right. Okay. The,
Yeah, I'm predicting gold easily.
yeah, it would be unforeseen if they didn't get the gold. So that'd be cool to watch. But anyway, I want to thank everybody so much for joining us once again. Of course, we're on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, all the platforms. So check us out there. We'll give us a recap of the episode. Let us know what you think about the Olympics overall. Thanks, JP, as well for tuning in with, or for chopping it up with us. And of course, I'll swing it a tray.
Again, thank you so much, guys, for joining us. I really do appreciate it. Like Nolan said, we're on all the major platforms, so please check us out. Again, JP, it's great to have you here. Thank you for coming. We really do appreciate it. But until we talk again next week, peace.